I am here with Coach Jerry Mathis, or former coach.
Former coach, that's true.
Retired coach.
That's true also, retired.
You want to go do a little league?
No, I did Little League in my time.
I've done it in my time. Jerry Mathis was the head coach of Tullahoma High School for several years, but you started in I believe in '67 as an assistant coach.
For Jack Jolly, I did. There wasn't a supplement for the time, so I did it for nothing. I told Jack that I would love to come in here and coach, and he said, well, you know, I don't have an assistant position open because there's no money for it. I said, I don't care. I want to do it anyway. And I did. And of course, Jack was involved then in football, and he was involved in spring practice, so I took the team, and I took care of them. So
that's the main thing. Got a lot of knowledge. But now, what year did you start as a head coach?
70-71.
70-71, and from there you were very, in all honesty, you were a very successful coach at the high school. I believe you won your first state championship in '74, but you were runner-up, I believe, in '73.
That's true. We were.
Well, I guess what I need to ask you is what year did you start and how long did you coach Tullahoma? That's
I coached for 29
question.
years. I quit in 2017. So I was there for 29 years, and I was 29 years as head coach.
Well, I noticed that you won your first state championship. You got a reserve in '73.
Mm-hmm.
Then you won it in everything in '74. And we've got a picture of that '74 team, but that's how long ago it was. Back then it was black and white.
I understand that, yes.
We're getting old.
I know, you don't have to tell me.
Well, that was when I first moved to Tullahoma.
Okay.
When you won the state championship. But now you went 16 years between your first championship and your second state championship, but you were also runner-up in '86, I believe it was. So here's a question I'd like to ask. You was runner-up in '73.
Mm-hmm.
You was runner-up in '86. Did you have hopes of maybe next year, '87?
We had hopes. We wasn't sure that. I wasn't sure as relative to pitching goes that I had the combination of pitching to do it again in '87.
Well, I know that, but it skipped a year, and it took you won your second one in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
And those boys, we got a video. Now we had colored pictures then.
Yeah, I know.
We started moving on.
We got a little advanced as time went on.
Getting a little bit more technology. Right. But I love this picture simply because the pile-on, and that's something that every kid loves to do. If they do something good, they've got to do the pile-on. And that's a prime example, but you wasn't in the pile-on.
No, I got out of the way.
you move on down the road. Well, after that, you won the championship in 1990, like we just showed, and then you went to '97. You were runner-up again.
We were. And that was a team that we started off the year, and you know, we struggled a little bit at first, and then as time went on, they developed real well. And I never will forget, it was the first time that I'd ever lost a game to Manchester, Coffee County. We went about 20-something years and never lost a game to them. We won every game we ever played. Then they beat us. They had the Elam boys. Yep. And those Elam boys were good players and good friends. Well, one of them, you know, passed away on a motorcycle accident, but the other one, to this day, is still a good friend of mine. And we had to go to there to go to see who went to the state, and they had beaten us. As we drove up into Manchester, they had a sign out there that said, "Welcome T-Town, because we're going state bound." And I said, I told my team, I said, I want y'all to look at that. And I told my managers, that's what's funny. I said, listen, when this game's over, we walked up to the dugout and I looked over there, and in the dugout in the back, they got state bound. I said, if we were to win this game, I want y'all to go over and get that signed. They said, okay. Sure enough, we won it. They went over, got the sign, brought it back over, and we took it home with us.
Well, that's a good thing. You're right about them Elam boys. They were good.
Great kids.
I did all my coaching in Little League and T-ball and in the travel league some. But we picked up one of them Elam boys for a travel team in Little League.
Yes.
He was good. And good football player,
good
too.
Good football players, great kids.
Well, I guess the next question I've got is in your career at Tullahoma High School, what was your biggest high and low?
Well, I can tell you, of course, the biggest high is the first time we won the state championship. We got down here and we had to go through Knoxville Central and all that group. We played Cookeville. And I'll tell you something about that game. We were playing Cookeville and I pitched J.R. Fair the first game. We won 1-0. And then we came in the next night. It was best 2 out of 3 then. They had everybody together, all teams together, A, AA, AAA, 4A, 5A, everybody. So we were going to be if we won it, we were going to be the state champion of the entire state. So JR pitched the first game 1-0. Then I pitched another pitcher the second game. He got into trouble in the 5th inning. And I walked out there and I said, okay. Well, I told JR, I said, and you know, are you ready again? And of course, back then you could do that. And JR said, Coach, let me go warm up. And he warmed up down there. I came off the mound, went another inning, and in the 6th inning, he got in trouble again, and I went out there and I said, okay, I'm going to take him out. I looked at JR and I said, come on. Now, this is something that sticks in my mind all these years, and JR still remembers it to this day. Got on the mound, and I said, all right, warm up a few. It looked like he had never rested. He threw it like a bullet. And I said to JR, I'm going to go sit down. He said, Coach, this is what I want you to do. Go sit down because this game's over. And he was.
He was that sure, huh?
He was that sure, and buddy, it was. It was over. They never scored again.
Well, that was
tough.
That's something that you always remember when somebody is so positive. That
he was positive.
Going to do good.
He had the best knuckle curve I've ever seen. As far as that thing would break straight off the table, and JR was phenomenal.
No, that's great. Well, we got the high. What's the low?
One of the lows I ever had was when I had a team that we went over to Columbia and played in the state tournament. Not state tournament, the sectional tournament. And we were playing, and we were high in 1 run. We had the bases loaded, and it came a flood. Now we're in the 6th inning. And I had some good hitters coming up. Well, it came a flood. And Sammy Northcutt was one of our umpires over there. And it came a flood, and it called it off as far as that go that night. And we got out on the field, and we were talking. And we said, well, we'll come back tomorrow and finish it. And everybody agreed. The umpires agreed. Tournament director agreed. Everybody. And so we all came home, ready to go the next day. Same situation, bases be loaded, got my good players up, and I get a phone call. And he said, Coach, yeah, no need to come back, this game's over. I said, what do you mean? Well, we called the TSSAA, and they said after 5 innings, it's over. Even in a state tournament, sectional tournament. So y'all are finished. That just devastated me. We only had 1 out, bases loaded, and we were fixing to win that game. But anyway,
that would
that's, you know, you get down to that, and that's a part of life. You got to live with it. And our kids were devastated. I was devastated, and that was one of the lows in my time right there.
I would imagine that. That would.
That would. I mean, we had all intention next day. We even had the bus settled. Everything's ready. We're going back go back to Columbia, and we're going to finish this thing. And
didn't get the opportunity.
Didn't have the opportunity. It was over with.
I would have been. Of course, I got a little redneck in me, so I would have.
Well, I grew up in Eston. I do too.
I'd have been upset. Well, I guess what was your biggest challenge?
biggest challenge is getting the people to be on the right page at the right time. Fundamentals. We worked on fundamentals every day. At the end of every practice, we would always go 7 innings. You can't make a physical. You cannot make a mental mistake. And they all knew this today. They can still remember it to this day. I see a lot of them like Derek Cranover. I see him everywhere. And I say, well, hey, Derek, you just start over. So here's what we do. We go 7 innings. If you made a physical mistake, we start over again. If we were in the 5th going through all of that and we made a mistake, we go back and we do it over again. Start over, gentlemen. And they all knew it. But if you made a mental mistake, in other words, for example, if I hit it to the right field and the third baseman didn't back up the second, or left fielder didn't come over and back his pace up, then I'd say, gentlemen, where are you supposed to be? And they'd look at me and say, never mind, start over. And we'd start over.
They learned.
They learned real fast. I said, the reason I do this is because you'll never go through a game that you haven't been introduced to the situation. And they said, okay, that right there, I wanted to get them all on the same page, want them all to do the same thing, learn how to fill the ball properly. Learn how to get along with each other. And we don't want to badmouth another team, because I told them, I said, when you start badmouthing and you start, getting out of line with that, those people that you pass on your way up, you're going to see them again as you're on the way down.
That's
and
fact.
And I said, you don't want to do that. And so let's keep our things in concept here. Let's do it right. And that's what we did. That was the main thing I wanted to do.
Well, teamwork now is exactly that. Each person, to me, has their job. And as long as you do your job and your teammate does their job, then it's going to be smooth going. When you have one that messes up, sometimes it's kind of like, and I heard this saying, quicksand. Mm-hmm. One thing goes wrong, then another thing goes wrong, then everything goes wrong. It will
explode.
And
and I always wanted our players to know everybody else's positions. In other words, first baseman, y'all tell me what he's responsible for. I want to know what his responsibilities are as far as bunting, backing up, everything. So, and they all knew everybody else's positions.
Well, going back through your coaching career, is there anything you'd do different today or change that you did in the past?
Today?
Yeah.
I wouldn't, there's not a whole lot I would change. Back then, though, I didn't have to put up with the parental problems that a lot of them have to put up with now.
Oh, yeah.
And then I told my players, I said, I want to tell you something. You may disagree with what I do, and I understand that. But don't send your parents down here. If they do, your playing days are over. And they would do that too. They wouldn't. I didn't have them come around and talk to me. And I said, you got to remember one thing. I give out the caps. If I run into something that y'all not getting along with each other, and I'm having to put up with all of this stuff from behind the scenes, then your cap I'll keep. And so they did.
Well, that's a good way to be.
Sure it is. I had a kid one time. He was a sophomore, and we were in the gym practicing because it was snowing outside. And we were in the gym, and I said, all right, gentlemen, I'm going to pass out the caps now, the ones that made the team. And I started passing them out, gave this kid his, and he looked at it, and I turned around and started to walk off, and he said, I've waited all my life for this one time. It made me feel good.
Well, a lot of kids, they play, they give their heart and their soul.
Sure they do.
But I'm like this, and Little League, T-ball on up, there comes a time when a youth turns on their light bulb and everything comes together for them.
Sure.
But up until that point, it's rough on them. But I can see kids with dreams of playing, and when they finally get to high school, their dream is to go on. And to make the high school team, hey, you got to make it. It's not given.
It's not going to be given, and you're not going to. You may have played shortstop in Little League in Liberia, but you may not be a shortstop there. You may be an outfielder. So I had that happen 2 or 3 times. Parents say, well, he was a great second baseman. I said, yes, ma'am, but that's not what I need.
Well, he's third baseman now. Well, a lot of them never understood. They say, well, this guy, he's got a great glove. Well, it takes a good strong arm from third and short.
Yeah.
Second, you don't need as strong an arm. Not to me. It don't have to be as strong as it would be on third. And your outfielders, they got to be able to move. Get around.
Some of them got to be able to move, and center fielder's got to take control. Your right fielder's got to have a great arm. Your left fielder's got to be a backup man everywhere.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't understand baseball, and they look at it one way, and they think it. Which I know as you walk through the different levels of baseball, it gets tougher and tougher and more demanding, and it's not like now. You got participation trophies and all this. I'll be honest, not to get you in trouble, but I don't believe in that.
I don't believe in participation trophies at all. If you earn it, you win it.
And
you get you a trophy.
Exactly the way I feel. Kids need to go.
HostMy provides modern phone systems with mobile integration, HIPAA-ready business texting, and digital faxing solutions. More importantly, we offer dedicated U.S.-based support, transparent billing, and unparalleled reliability. Call 931-581-4411 today and partner with the best.
This place, where you grew up, where your memories were made, and where your dreams were born. Where your neighbors stop to say hello, and where you're always welcome to stay a while.
Yeah.
Where your Fridays are spent under the lights, and where Saturdays are made for the water. Where you can feel good about a hard day's work, and take pride in a job well done. Where small business makes a big impact, and home is always a sight for sore eyes. And where the best things in life, well, the best things in life are the little things. Tullahoma Utilities Authority. Power in community.
Well, one other thing I want to ask you is, as a coach, advice that you can give to T-ball coaches, Little League coaches, Babe Ruth coaches, and especially travel league coaches. What advice could you give to them?
Well, my advice I would give to them is you take the game for what it's worth. Be respective of it. Love the game, and just realize that you're going to win some, accept it. You're going to lose some, accept that. Don't be happy with it, but accept it. But a lot of these travel teams, they spend all summer traveling all around the place. I think a lot of times some of these kids are just absolutely too young. They get burnt out on that. I know that. I know some softball girls that are in my family who got burned out doing travel, and they're not playing today. Take the game for what it's worth. Learn to play it well. Enjoy what you're doing, and be happy and be rewarded in it.
Well, I agree with every bit of that. There's other things that I looked at. Of course, I coached different than you did, and mine was at a lower level. But I always believe that a coach, T-ball, Little League especially, that is when the youth will listen more.
Sure.
Now, when they start getting in Babe Ruth, and this is true with all of them, that's when they start. I'm trying to think of a nice way to put this, but they get kind of defiant. Right. They know more than mama and daddy, and they definitely know more than the coach.
Sure they do.
Now that's the 13s, but up through that T-ball and minor league, you can develop some good ball players.
Yeah, that's right. You develop good habits, and that's what you don't want to do.
You
develop good. And in Estill Springs, I coach a little league teams, the Lions Club. A lot of those kids went on to play high school ball, and not necessarily here, because I was in Estes, Franklin County, and did really well. So, and we were a good team. We were 18-0. We didn't get beat, and I got to coach the All-Stars. And let me tell you about the All-Stars in Estes. Let me tell you two of the people I got to coach: Donald Roden and Ricky Morris. Oh, they were both on that team, and both you'd pitch one of them one game and the other in the next one.
They were ball players.
Woo! They were great ball players and great people.
You talk about Estill. I'm going to tell my Estill Spring. That's where I started coaching.
Okay.
Now, I did help in Tullahoma one year, but I was assistant coach. I can still remember when I went to try to get a team, and we got the team, and it seemed like every time there was a new kid come, we'd get him. But you had to play everybody on the team. And I'm not sure if it was that way when
It
you
wasn't.
coached.
It wasn't like that.
But what was funny is, and this is a true story, my father-in-law and I did the coaching. But if a parent showed up at practice, I made them get out there and do something. I didn't let them sit on the sideline. I'd have them hit balls on the ground, hit fly balls, pick back and forth. They're going to do something. They wasn't going to sit and watch. So we got ready, and they have a preseason tournament. They say, and the president of the league told me this. He said, Jerry said, you're going to play the best team in the league. And he said, we already know it. Everybody knows he's got the best team. He's just got some really good ball players. And he said, but don't let that bother you because this is your first year coaching. You'll be fine. I said, all right. So we had our preseason tournament, and we played the best team in the league. I had S&J's team. Mm-hmm. We beat them 28-0. We never lost a game the rest of the season. They put together an all-star team, and we played them, and we beat them. And the hardest games we played was when my team played a team that had mostly girls. Them girls could
some
play
of those girls
ball.
back then could play ball.
Them girls could play
Yeah,
ball,
they could.
buddy. But I'll never forget it. Those were some just great times. And Estill Springs is a great place.
It's a great place. They got some good kids. I really like what you did as far as parents come to watch. You're going to help me get out here. I like that.
Hey, they need to get out there. I just
I don't want them to come out there and be watching and then it become critical, and I don't like that.
Well, I'll tell you what it did, or what I saw, was they realized what their child could do and couldn't do. So when we did things, it didn't make them, didn't upset them as much.
They could realize and see it.
They say, hey,
I got you.
I don't want her doing this and that. But Coach, I tell you, I've watched some of the things that you used to do, and you had a great career at Tullahoma High School.
I was blessed.
You truly did.
People would always say, Coach, you must have been a good coach. I said, y'all don't understand. I had great athletes. They won a game. I didn't win one of them, but they did a good job.
Well, they learned good stuff, though.
Well, we did a lot on fundamentals, and we did it every day. Bunting, for example, our kids will tell you now, I teach them how to bunt. We bunt by, squaring around with the big end of the bat, lay it down. Then I'd say, now flip the bat over.
Good.
Now band it with the little end. Now hold it, flip it around, do it with the bend. I said, y'all know the reason why I do that is because if you bunt it with the little knob of the bat, you have to keep your eye on it. That's the same thing about hitting. Why do you catch a ball? If I put a glove on your hand, and that's what we did on hitting. If I put a glove on your hand, what do you have to do to catch it? You better keep your eye on it. Right? Same thing about hitting. See the ball, put the bat on it.
Well, I'll confess, I watched you do a lot of that. We stole a lot of what you did.
I didn't care.
We would take it and do things, especially pitching.
Yeah.
Now, on your pitching, I was a full believer. I'm going to tell you one more story. Did you know Drew Henson?
Yeah.
Drew came to me in Little League, and he walks up and he says, Coach, I'm a pitcher. I want to play for y'all. And then he walks off. So I'm over there, me and Mark, and I told him, I said, I think I'm going to draft that boy. So we did. And he was 10 years old. And we was playing the best team in the Little League at the time, which was Leroy Ewing's team. Mm-hmm. He had some good ball players, Chris and all of them, Yeah. Well, and I told him, I said, I'm going to let him pitch. He goes out there, first inning, and I'm getting to the part where a kid turns on the light bulb. He goes out there the first inning, they get 4 runs off of him. They come in, of course, he's dragging. They get us out. He goes back out there. They get 4 more runs off of him. he comes in, he's got them little teardrops in his eyes, and I said, "You want to come out?" And he said, "Yep." I said, "I'll tell you what." I said, "If you'll go back out there one more inning and throw to the catcher," I said, "don't aim, don't do it, just throw to the catcher and go through your balance points and everything. I'll take you out after the inning." Okay? Okay. Now they're ahead 8-0. He goes back out there in the third inning, 4 up, 3 down. He's good. They get 4 batters up, but we get the 3 outs. He comes off the mound. I said, "You want to come out?" And he said, "Nope." They never scored another run off of him. They beat us 8-7. He never once did I ever question how that young man did. But when he went out there that second inning, after he came out for the third, you could tell his light bulb come on, and he knew what he had to do.
Sure he did.
And kids are like that. They have them light bulbs.
You must have been a pretty good coach.
Nah, I wasn't that good. I had a lot of good, but I fudged a lot because I had my son and my nephew.
Yeah, I understand that.
Being up the street, we had some good ball players, but they was just kids that wanted to play. That's the key. That's the key, is having kids that want to play. Well, Coach, I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah.
And I hope maybe we get you back here again sometime. We'll do some pointers for pitching and hitting and just a little bit base running.
Yeah, I can go through the pitching, 5 steps to pitching.
That's it.
That's it.
You can go to it.
We can go to it and hitting, and we can do all of that. Anytime, I'd love to come back. I enjoy it. I still enjoy the game of baseball. People say, "Could you coach?" I say, "Absolutely. I could still coach." Now, could I put up the things behind the scene? I'm not sure. But it's going to be tough. But they're going to have to learn to live with what I do.
When parents get too rough, that's when I've decided I've had it.
Well,
I mean, you're there to do something. You do it, and you try to teach the best you can. And that's all any of us can do.
I coached my son, and he was pitching one night against Columbia, and I brought him in relief, and David Myers was my catcher, and I brought him in, and Tim was a pretty good pitcher, and I brought him in, and he did real well. Then I got down to the last inning, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to have to switch him because I got a left-hander coming up." So I switched him. Well, we got out of it, but Tim had done real well. I went home, and I got met at the door. My wife said, "I want you to explain something to me." "What?" "Why'd you take him out? I thought he was doing real well." I knew right then, here we go. So, I was fortunate over here. I had some good athletes. I had some that really wanted to, they didn't feel like they could get beat. They felt like they could beat you, and they'd beat you in 5 innings if they could, and they felt like I had some great athletes and great kids.
You did through the years. I can remember a bunch of super good kids that really got out there and hustled and went and got it done.
Well, my uncle was a radio announcer in Mississippi. He owned a radio station. He called me one night and said, "Jerry," yeah, I said, "I'm listening to Mississippi State play Auburn." I said, "You are?" "Yeah." "Guess what? The pitcher of Mississippi State's from Tullahoma. The guy hitting's from Tullahoma." That's right. So you had Rob Norman and Derek Cranover. Yeah, I said, well.
I mean, you had a lot that went on to, you had some went straight to the pros.
A bunch of them, yeah. We had 11 in the pros. So I had one like DeJuan Brazelton, opening day starter for the Tampa Bay.
He was a great pitcher.
Good pitcher.
He was.
Yeah. Brandon Poss was a great pitcher.
So just through the years, a lot of good kids have gone through Tullahoma High School.
They really have.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we're about out of time, but I want to thank you for coming in.
It's not a problem. I love the game, and anytime you want to talk, we talk. I could come in here sometime. We sit down and tell you some funny stories about it.
Well, we'll do that.
I got some things that I did that it'll make you smile.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll schedule that. We'll have it on another episode.
We'll do it.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay.